How we see ourselves shapes how we live. It can lift us up with confidence, or it can lock us in with doubt. The labels we wear or avoid influence every aspect of our life. Our relationships, our career, our passions, our performance. Let me ask this. How many of you have held or overcome a false limiting belief about yourself? I know I have. I certainly have. In spite of contrary evidence, I have never seen myself as an athlete. In fact, it took over 50 years for me to finally call myself one. So what formed this belief that I held? Well, we have to go way back to a bright sunny day in a baseball field in a park in the 5th grade. And I showed up there for Little League baseball tryouts. Oh, I was excited. I practiced in the driveway with my brother. I was ready. And I could catch those ground balls. I could catch fly balls. I was on top of it. But every time I got up to bat, I struck out. And I didn't make the team. So when all my classmates went on to organize sports and to become jocks, not me. I also, around that time frame, I found out, accidentally discovered I was born with one kidney. So now, all contact sports are out of my future. So I gave it one more shot in middle school. Can't do football, can't do basketball. Track, let me do track. All right, so I go out for track. I hate running. And as a result, I was also bad at running. So I had the brilliant idea of being a pole vaulter. This is going to be great, I don't have to run. But you need two things, courage and commitment, of which apparently at that point in my life, I had neither. So if you've ever watched a pole vaulter, they get that pole and they run up and they dig it in there, and as the momentum goes, they pull back and they put their feet straight in the air and their head down and they let it vault them over the bar. Well, that wasn't me. That ain't happening. I would just run up, I would hit it, and I would cling for dear life, and I would just go up and over, looking down. I was kind of like one of those silly little erasers a 3rd grader might put on the end of his pencil. That was me. So there was no more sports in high school. So when they were getting their varsity letters, I was going to Mexico with the Foreign Studies Club. So now let's kind of go fast forward into the life. Post high school, 20s, 30s, 40s, I was always doing something. I was playing racquetball, I was lifting weights, I was doing martial arts. For many years, I was on co-ed softball leagues. I was doing pickup games of roller hockey or basketball. I was always doing in and out of something. But I wasn't an athlete. No. So why? Why did I hold this belief for all these years that I'm not an athlete? Well, it starts with your personal definition of that label. To me, an athlete were the jocks in school. They played team sports. They had a coach. They were going for trophies and district titles. They were watching what they ate. They were training all the time. They were getting enough sleep. They were doing all these things, and they had natural abilities that I just didn't seem to have at that age. So that's what I viewed an athlete as. And they went on to get paid to do sports, or they were always winning something. That wasn't me. I was just doing hobbies, because I'm not an athlete. It wasn't until I started doing obstacle racing and triathlons in my 50s and now into my 60s that I finally realized you're training hard, you're eating right, you're sleeping, and you're giving it all on the field. You're an athlete, and you probably have been your entire life. How did this limit me? Well, I can't predict what my life would have been if I would have not held that belief. But I probably would have done competitions much earlier, and I would have eaten better, slept better, trained more regularly and harder. Now that I understand the power of self-perception in thought and in language, I realize how a small but mighty word can spark transformation. Yet, I would do a triathlon, but I'm not a swimmer. Yet. I would do that 5K with you, but I'm not a runner. Yet. I'd sign up for a speech next week, but I'm not a great speaker. Yet. Add the word yet. It shifts your mindset from limitation to possibility. So I challenge you now to listen to your inner thoughts